Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son.
The courtroom fell into absolute chaos when Matthew Robinson, the father of the accused assassin, erupted in rage during his son's hearing, shocking everyone in attendance as he turned his fury not toward the judge, not toward the prosecutors, but directly at Erica Kirk, the grieving widow of Charlie Kirk, accusing her of exploiting tragedy for political gain, screaming that his family had sacrificed everything for justice while she played the victim for cameras. A fiery confrontation that was over in just 90 seconds but left the entire nation stunned, sparking an emotional firestorm about grief, guilt, and the devastating price families pay when justice collides with loyalty. September 16th was supposed to be a routine court date, a quiet virtual hearing to officially charge Tyler Robinson for the shocking assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. But what unfolded inside the Utah 4th Judicial District Courthouse looked more like a scene from a drama series than a legal proceeding. As Tyler appeared stoic and restrained on the courtroom screen, the air in the gallery was thick with tension, with Erica Kirk, the widow who had lost her husband in the most brutal and public way, sitting silently just a few rows back. Suddenly, all order was shattered when Matthew Robinson, Tyler's own father, leapt to his feet and unleashed a verbal tirade that stunned everyone present. His voice cracked with rage as he accused Erika of cashing in on her husband's death, of turning the tragedy into a political stage, and of using his son as nothing more than a pawn. Security guards moved instantly, but for 90 seconds the room spun into chaos as Matthew's grief collided with Erika's quiet dignity. The widow remained composed, her eyes fixed forward, while the man who had once been praised for turning in his own son now screamed at her, his pain and anger laid bare for the world to see. By the time security dragged him out, the damage had already been done. This wasn't just a hearing anymore. It was a viral moment that turned a high-profile case into a raw human spectacle, igniting debates far beyond the courtroom walls about loyalty, justice, and how far grief can push someone when the cameras are rolling. Just days later, the story shifted again as prosecutors made their boldest move yet, announcing that they would seek the death penalty against Tyler Robinson, a decision that immediately elevated this case into one of the most politically charged murder trials in modern American history. Standing before reporters, Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray delivered the announcement with a heavy tone, declaring that the evidence of premeditation and the brutality of the act left him with no other option. For the Robinson family, this was a crushing blow, and for the nation, it was confirmation that this wasn't going to be a quiet trial, it was going to be a spectacle with life and death on the line. Tyler, appearing virtually in court, didn't flinch. He sat in a restraint garment, expressionless, as the judge read through each of the 7 felony counts: aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, even committing violence in front of a child. Every word carried the weight of decades in prison or the possibility of execution. Yet Tyler spoke only 3 words, his name. That silence, cold and calculated, became the soundbite played across every network, a chilling reminder that the accused assassin was choosing detachment over explanation. And when the judge ruled him indigent, declaring that the once comfortable Robinson family could no longer afford private defense, the narrative took another shocking turn. This family that once flaunted vacations and hunting trips on social media was now dependent on taxpayer-funded attorneys, fueling speculation about whether their empire had collapsed under scrutiny or whether they had made strategic moves to protect their assets while preparing for the fight of their lives. But the courtroom drama didn't stop there, because as prosecutors pushed forward, they also secured a protective order for Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, barring Tyler Robinson from contacting her in any way, whether through letters, phone calls, or even social media. The filing made it clear prosecutors believed Erika was still in danger, calling Tyler a credible threat to her safety, a chilling detail that underscored just how volatile this case had become. At the same time, Erika's attorneys moved to have her formally recognized as the victim's representative, giving her legal rights to speak at hearings, weigh in on plea deals, and ultimately deliver a victim impact statement if Tyler were ever sentenced. Overnight, Erica Kirk became more than just a grieving widow. She became a central figure in the trial, both a symbol of loss and a lightning rod for controversy. Supporters hailed her courage for standing tall and vowing to carry on her husband's mission through Turning Point USA, continuing the American comeback tour that had been cut short by his assassination. But critics accused her of exploiting tragedy, echoing Matthew Robinson's explosive accusations that she was turning grief into political capital. Online, the debate only grew louder, with some calling Erika a hero and others branding her an opportunist. And that clash of perception wasn't just about her, it became a reflection of the entire case, a bitter fight over how America should view the human fallout of political violence when both sides of the courtroom are drenched in heartbreak and rage. As the headlines spread, another shocking layer of the story came into focus: the Robinson family's deep roots in Utah's Mormon community. Friends and neighbors struggled to reconcile the image of Tyler as a clean-cut honor student, a boy who earned scholarships and once posed proudly with his church youth group, with the reality of an accused political assassin now facing the death penalty. His mother had once flooded social media with posts celebrating his perfect GPA and hunting trips with his father, never imagining those photos would later be examined as evidence in a murder case. The disconnect was staggering. How could a young man raised in a faith built on service, peace, and family values turn to such calculated violence? Within church circles, whispers of guilt and confusion spread, with leaders openly asking whether the community had missed the warning signs of Tyler's radicalization. The answer may have been closer to home than anyone realized. Tensions had reportedly been growing inside the Robinson household over Tyler's relationship with a transgender roommate and his evolving views on LGBTQ rights, clashing directly with his father's strict conservative beliefs. That clash, according to investigators, may have left Tyler caught between two worlds, his religious upbringing and his new political identity. And it was in that fragile space that online extremist communities seized their chance, pulling him deeper into dangerous echo chambers where memes, chat groups, and radical ideologies blurred the line between political discourse and violent action. Court documents soon revealed just how far Tyler's radicalization had gone, and the details were chilling. Investigators uncovered a trail of text messages between Tyler and his transgender roommate that painted a clear picture of premeditation. On the very morning of the assassination, he sent a casual but terrifying instruction: "Look under my keyboard." Beneath it was a handwritten note spelling out his plan to take out Charlie Kirk. The roommate's shocked response, "You're joking, right?" was met with Tyler's cold confirmation, followed by directions on how to retrieve his rifle from a hidden drop point. Prosecutors wasted no time seizing on these exchanges, calling them undeniable proof that this was not a crime of impulse, but one of deliberate intent. Even more haunting was Tyler's admission in another message: "To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you." Those words, written just hours before the shooting, showed a level of psychological preparation that prosecutors argued made him the very definition of a calculated assassin. And yet, when confronted after the killing, Tyler tried to deflect, claiming some old guy had been arrested instead, a desperate lie that revealed he knew exactly what he had done. These text messages, casual in tone yet catastrophic in implication, became the prosecution's strongest weapon evidence, not just of the crime itself, but of the cold-blooded mindset behind it. As if the text messages weren't disturbing enough, the murder weapon itself carried a tragic symbolism that made the case even more haunting. The rifle Tyler used to kill Charlie Kirk wasn't just any firearm, it was a family heirloom, a Mauser rifle once owned by his grandfather, passed down from father to son as part of a proud tradition of hunting and responsible firearm use. Social media posts from years earlier showed Tyler smiling beside his father and brothers on hunting trips, celebrating his first buck, posing with trophies that reflected a picture-perfect Mormon family rooted in outdoor values. But what was once a symbol of bonding and heritage had now been twisted into a weapon of political violence, a betrayal of everything that rifle was meant to stand for. Investigators later revealed that Matthew Robinson, Tyler's father, recognized the description of the rifle in news reports, and that realization shattered him. When Tyler failed to send proof that he still had the gun, Matthew's worst fears came true, and it was part of what pushed him to make the unthinkable choice: turning his own son into authorities. That decision, hailed by many as an act of moral courage, also set the stage for his explosive outburst in court. Because for Matthew Robinson, the weapon that had symbolized family legacy now symbolized ultimate betrayal, and the son he raised had turned their tradition into a national tragedy. As if the text messages weren't disturbing enough, the murder weapon itself carried a tragic symbolism that made the case even more haunting. The rifle Tyler used to kill Charlie Kirk wasn't just any firearm, it was a family heirloom, a Mauser rifle once owned by his grandfather, passed down from father to son as part of a proud tradition of hunting and responsible firearm use. Social media posts from years earlier showed Tyler smiling beside his father and brothers on hunting trips, celebrating his first buck, posing with trophies that reflected a picture-perfect Mormon family rooted in outdoor values. But what was once a symbol of bonding and heritage had now been twisted into a weapon of political violence, a betrayal of everything that rifle was meant to stand for. Investigators later revealed that Matthew Robinson, Tyler's father, recognized the description of the rifle in news reports, and that realization shattered him. When Tyler failed to send proof that he still had the gun, Matthew's worst fears came true, and it was part of what pushed him to make the unthinkable choice, turning his own son into authorities. That decision, hailed by many as an act of moral courage, also set the stage for his explosive outburst in court. Because for Matthew Robinson, the weapon that had symbolized family legacy now symbolized ultimate betrayal, and the son he raised had turned their tradition into a national tragedy. But perhaps the strangest and most unsettling twist came when prosecutors revealed evidence showing just how deeply internet culture had shaped Tyler's state of mind. Alongside the violent planning and chilling text messages, investigators discovered that Tyler had engraved bizarre meme-inspired phrases onto his bullet casings, later describing them as mostly a big meme. In one text, he even joked about having a stroke if a furry-related reference ever made it onto Fox News language so immature and disconnected from reality that it left prosecutors shaking their heads. The contrast was surreal. On one hand, a carefully planned political assassination, on the other, juvenile humor pulled straight from online gaming and meme culture. Digital experts warned that this was no coincidence, that Tyler represented a new generation of extremists whose worldview was shaped not by organized ideology, but by the blending of politics with online jokes, Discord chats, and viral content. It was a dangerous recipe that desensitized young people to violence, turning something as deadly as assassination into a twisted game. And for parents across America, it was a terrifying wake-up call. Traditional safeguards like religion, school, or even strong family ties were no longer enough to protect against the influence of anonymous online communities where memes and radicalization could merge into something explosive. By late September, the legal battle was fully underway, with Judge Tony Graff setting the next court appearance for September 29th. It would be the first time Tyler appeared with a full capital defense team by his side, attorneys tasked with not only challenging the state's evidence, but also digging into every corner of his life to build a case against the death penalty. That meant months of combing through his childhood, his education, his Mormon upbringing, his fractured family dynamics, and his online activities, searching for any mitigating factors to humanize him before a jury. On the other side, prosecutors were sharpening their argument that this was exactly the kind of cold-blooded crime the death penalty was designed for: premeditated, political, and carried out in front of children. Even the FBI confirmed they were considering additional federal charges, hinting at possible terrorism-related counts that could push the case into even higher stakes. Meanwhile, Erica Kirk's presence loomed larger than ever, her every public appearance scrutinized as she vowed to continue her late husband's mission. For Turning Point USA, the assassination meant ramping up security and reshaping their events to address the reality of political violence, a reality that now defined Erica's life. And for America, the case had become more than just a courtroom story. It was a test of how the nation would confront radicalization, family betrayal, and the terrifying consequences when online extremism explodes into real-world bloodshed. The Tyler Robinson case is no longer just about a single murder. It has become a mirror reflecting America's deepest fractures. In one courtroom, a grieving widow fights for justice while enduring accusations of exploitation. In another seat, a father who made the impossible choice to turn in his own son now carries the unbearable weight of guilt and rage. And at the center sits a young man whose path from honor student to political assassin shows just how fragile the line is between faith, family, and the lure of extremist ideology online. Every development, from the death penalty announcement to the protective order for Erika, from the bizarre memes on bullet casings to the tragic misuse of a family heirloom, has transformed this trial into more than a legal proceeding. It's a national debate about grief, loyalty, radicalization, and the cost of political violence in the digital age. As the case moves toward trial, the nation watches not just to see what punishment Tyler Robinson will face, but to understand what this case says about where America is headed. Will justice bring closure, or will it only deepen the wounds already carved into two families and an entire movement? The answer will shape not only the future of one courtroom, but also the way this country confronts the dangerous intersection of ideology, identity, and violence for years to come.